and physical. Intellectual abilities are needed to perform mental activities. IQ tests, for example, are designed to ascertain one's intellectual abilities. Physical abilities manifest one's stamina, manual dexterity, leg strength, and the like. Management must identify an employee's physical abilities if these are the major input required to perform a task. It is widely known that employees differ in the physical and intellectual abilities, and the jobs they perform demand varied abilities. Employees' performance is enhanced where there is high ability job fit. A perfect ability job fit is seldom achieved. For one thing, it brings procedures are often imperfect. Managers direct their attention at only employees' abilities or the ability requirements of the job and ignore the fact that employees' performance depends on between the two, right? If the employee's abilities far exceed the job requirement, the consequences will be different. Job performance is likely to be adequate, but there will be organizational inefficiencies and possible decline in job satisfaction. Situations and motivation. Situational motivation refers to motivation of individual experience when they currently engage in activities. This is referred to here and now motivation. A situation-centered view contends that the motivation is determined by the situation. Many sports psychologists regard this as the most effective for guiding practice. The situational-centered view involves the following factors: achievement goals, perceived ability, and achievement behavior. A variety of influence and situation can influence motivation. Therefore, exercise psychologists do not recommend the situation-centered motivation as the most effective guiding practice, as the situation may not always be the primary factor influences individual motivation level. For example, a gymnast might be motivated in training, but then unmotivated in a competitive sport situation. The process of motivation plays an important role in any organization, profit or non-profit. The managerial process of direction is driven primarily by the process of motivation. Some of the aspects that can be considered, right, which can, where we find the process of motivation plays an important role is the increased productivity. Motivation is a process that leads to increased productivity of the employees. Motivation meets the needs of the employees and thereby creates a drive to work at the best of his abilities. A well-employee will be willing to put in more effort towards the betterment of the organization than another that is a disheartened employee. Motivation ensures organizational efficiency, right? Which is very simple to understand. When people are motivated, naturally they will work hard and the efficiency will increase. Motivation also increases loyal workforce, right? The loyalty towards the organization will increase as the employees are motivated. They'll be able to be loyal and they'll be able to commit themselves and dedicate themselves to work. It enforces a reactive workforce. In order to react to change easily and to continue smooth functioning of the organization require extensive loyalty and commitment of the employees. This reduces the resistance to changes that the organization intends to make. This, in effect, the organization is efficient in adapting to changing needs. Facilitates direction. Direction is an important managerial function and forms one of its core functions. Motivation, as already mentioned, is a vital part of direction. Direction, being a process, involves directing or initiating action according to the plan drawn, requires the employees to work wholeheartedly with commitment and loyalty. The process of direction is thus possible only when the employees proceed the direction that the manager determines that it requires a motivated workforce. Kindly check your progress. Explain the 5 key concepts of the work motivation. It is now role of self-esteem. What is self-esteem? It's an individual subjective evaluation of our own worth. It encompasses beliefs about oneself as loved or unloved, as an emotional state such as triumph, despair, pride, shame. Smith and Mackey defined it by saying the self-concept is what we think about the self. Self-esteem is a positive or a negative evaluation of the self as to how we feel. People with positive self-esteem are well-grounded and the principles and the values, thus they feel confident about themselves. Positive self-esteem leads to trust, and to trust their instinct and to be, less worried about what is going to happen in the future. Okay. Now you find here Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? In this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we see, you look at the triangle. In the triangle, you see the physiological need, the safety, the love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. Right? In the physiological, you find breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, excretion, etc. These are all the basic necessities a person will need for to be motivated to move to the next level. The next is the safety. Safety in terms of security of the body, employment, resources, morality, family health. From there, you move to the belonging needs, that is friendship, family, sexual intimacy. And then to the esteem needs, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect. And then at the top, you come to the self-actualization, where morality, creative, spontaneity. So according to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a person's motivation begins from the lower strata, that is the physiological, to begin with. In order to reach the self-actualization, he has to go through all these important needs in his life has to be met, beginning from physiological, safety, belonging, and esteem needs. Okay. Now each one of it is explained in a very, very clear manner what it is, okay, as per the diagram. Now, what is the relationship between the self-esteem and the motivation? You might think a high level of self-esteem can make you feel empowered or even improve your social relationship. Further, highly improved motivation can increase your self-esteem, right? So you check your progress, and then we have here intrinsic motivation. What is intrinsic motivation? Motivation are either intrinsic or extrinsic. It can come from outside or from within the person. Now, extrinsic motivation comes when you feel the urge to do something in order to gain a specific reward or steer clear of punishment. An example of this would be working hard on a paper to get a good grade, or practicing a sport to win an award. Or maybe you go to work every day just to get the paycheck at the end of the month. No matter what the reward is, it is coming from the exterior, okay, source, and you are chasing something very specific. Alternatively, intrinsic motivation is when you do something because the process is personally rewarding to you. While you don't have a tangible goal in mind, you may just enjoy playing a sport or working on a puzzle, simply enjoy doing what you're doing. You may have small victories along the way, but you would be doing whatever you're doing. So intrinsic motivation is something that comes from within, and extrinsic motivation is something that happens from outside. The Thomas model proposes that intrinsic motivation is achieved when people experience feeling of choice, competence, willingness, and progress. It defines the components as the following. That is the choice, competence, meaningfulness, and progress. Okay, Thomas reports a number of studies demonstrating that these four components of intrinsic motivation are significantly reported to improve job satisfaction, increase performance rated by the supervisor. Okay, so you check your progress, and then you have the need for, there is a question on explain the role of intrinsic motivation in understanding in workplace behavior. We have just learned that. You can write that in detail. We come to 8.6, need for achievement and development of work motivation. Achievement motivation refers to need motivation. It's an important determinant aspiration of the efforts and persistence when an individual expects that his performance will be evaluated in relation to some standards of excellence. Such behavior is called achievement-centered motivation. Motivation to achieve is instigated when individuals know that he is responsible for the outcome of some venture, when he anticipates explicit knowledge of results that will define his success or failure, and when there is some degree of risk, some uncertainty about the outcome of his effort. The goal achievement oriented theory is to succeed, to perform well in relation to standards of excellence or comparison with others or competitors. To understand the relation between need achievement in the development motivation, we shall do some of the following theories of motivation. That is the achievement theory motivation, one of the famous works of American psychologist David Clarence Macklin. This theory is also widely recognized as a need achievement theory, need theory, and three needs theory. Maclellan, being influenced by Henry Murray's initiatives, developed his theory in the early 60s. Achievement theory of motivation is all about how needs of an individual change over a period of time. The theory explains what affects the individual needs for achievement, power, and affiliation have on the behavior. These factors depend on the nature and the type of person. Based on the fact, achievement theory of motivation was developed by considering three major factors. What are those? Need for achievement, need for power, and need for affiliation, which is very simple to understand. So in order to achieve something, right, the person is motivated to work. The person excels in doing that particular task so that he is able to achieve the need. Need for power is also motivation driven for recognition, rewards by agreement and compensation. Okay? And need for affiliation, so value affiliation for achievement and power. And always look forward to maintaining warm interpersonal relationship with people they have recurring contact with. Okay, so what is the implication of the achievement theory of motivation? The workforce is composed with employees with different nature. The employees must identify or recognize these natures so they could properly motivate employees and extract the best out of them. While different employees have different nature, employees can maintain a high level of motivation in them in the following ways. Employees whose motivation is driven by achievement must be handed over challenging tasks with achievable goal, while less challenging or lower risk tasks are perceived as tasks not worth spending time and effort. Tasks with unreachable goals demotivates these types of employees. Sports players are a good example of this type of task. Okay, so some employee motivation is highly power. Employees of this nature have a strong desire to acquire power or authority or manage self and others, and they become committed to the duty when their motivational factors like payment are comparatively low. Example, such people are join the police. Employees whose motivation driven by affiliation demand cooperative working environment. All these employees prefer working in group to working alone. Their resistance can be observed even in the cases when the transfer is beneficial for personal development. Okay, so this is all about the achievement area motivation. Okay, and so now with this we end the unit number 8, and then we go on the last one, that is the unit number 9, and it is related to the motivation theories. Now, what does unit number 9's objective is? To define the meaning and nature of motivation, enumerate motivational processes, explain theories of motivation, differentiate between Maslow's motivation theory and Herberg's theory, discuss the Room's theory of motivation. This is very simple. We will complete this unit because some of the things are overlapping. We have already covered some part of it with the Maslow's theory. We also touched upon Room's theory. We will have a little more detail of the meaning and the nature of motivation. Okay, so one of the important factors that influence employees' performance and production of the organization is motivation, which we have already seen it. Studies have shown that motivated employees usually look for better ways to accomplish. People usually do not change the behavior or do something different unless they are motivated to do so. It is an internal condition. We have seen how external, extrinsic, and intrinsic factors influences motivation. And in this unit, we try and cover these three major theories. That is the Maslow's theory, Herberg's theory, and Bloom's expectancy theory. Okay, so let us look at this motivational process, right? So the process of motivation starts with a physiological or psychological need. The need denotes deficiency or lack of something. The physiological, psychological imbalance exists. However, balance is restored after the attainment of a goal. An unsatisfied need leads to a drive. A drive is a state of tension or arousal produced by a need. It energizes activity to fulfill the need. When the activity leads to goal achievement, it reduces the drive and the organism stops being active, right? So you can see they are given very nicely here in the brief motivation cycle. The need, that includes the drive, goal-directed behavior, goal achievement, and drive reduction. Okay. So what are the theories of motivation, right? There are content theories or need-based theories, which focuses on what motivates the employees, choosing certain actions for meeting their need. It explains specific needs that motivates people. Need theories are based on the premise that people are motivated by unfulfilled needs. Internal deficiency or individuals activate tensions that trigger behavioral responses. Need theories include Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Alfred's ERG's theory, McClelland's acquired needs theory, and Herbert's two-factor theory. These theories help managers to understand and identify the needs that trigger better performances and take necessary steps in improving the production of the organization. Process theory. Process-based approaches to motivation focus on how motivation takes place. They explain how people choose certain behaviors, actions to meet their needs and how they evaluate. Now, Abraham Maslow's theory. Who's Abraham Maslow? A humanist psychologist who has developed the theory of hierarchy of need to explain human behavior. So he also published a famous book titled Motivation and Personality in the year 1954. He identified initially 5 main needs in order of priority, namely physiological needs, safety and security needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization. These are broadly divided into basic needs or deficiency needs, and the growth needs are the B needs. The deficiency needs were unmet motivates people to act for the fulfillment. This theory suggests that people fulfill the basic needs first before moving on to the another advanced need. Usually people would focus more on fulfilling the basic needs like hunger, thirst, sleep, etc. Then the safety and the security needs will take the lead. Once these needs are satisfied, other needs like love, affection, friendship will bother the individual. Soon after that, the people will crave for respect, fame, and recognition in society. He stated that these needs produce a drive and a desire and motivate people to initiate action for accomplishment of needs. Maslow proposed that the motivation is a result of person's attempt at fulfilling 5 basic needs. Some of the assumptions of the theories are, it is surface behavior is often an expression of a hidden basic need. For example, the desire to use telephone may actually be an expression of belongingness or love. People are continuously motivated by one need or the other. When one need is satisfied, ordinarily loses its motivational power and replaced by another. Another assumption is that all people everywhere are motivated by some basic needs. Needs are arranged in hierarchy. Accordingly, basic lower needs must be satisfied or relatively satisfied before higher needs are met. Okay, so here you see in detail, Maslow's theories of hierarchy of need is explained as physiological, safety, social, esteem. Okay, so please go through this. It is very simple to understand. And even the diagram is there. Okay, so self-actualization. Aesthetic and cognitive needs. Later refined this model to a level between esteem needs and self-actualization. Maslow identified 2 categories of needs, aesthetic and cognitive. People are also motivated by the need for beauty and aesthetically pleasing experiences. People with aesthetic needs are desire beautiful and orderly surroundings. When these needs are not met, when they are disorderly and when they become physically and spiritually ill. Similarly, cognitive needs refer to desire to know, understand, and to explore. When cognitive needs are blocked, all needs of Maslow's hierarchies are threatened. Knowledge is necessary to satisfy each of the above needs. For example, people can gratify physiological needs by knowing how to secure food, safety needs by knowing how to build shelter, love needs by knowing how to relate to people, esteem needs by knowing how to acquire self-confidence and self-recognition. They updated Maslow's pyramid of needs. In 2010, team of psychologists, including 2 from Arizona State of University, attempted to modernize Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Their innovated the version of the pyramid was published in the Perspective of Psychological Sciences. According to experts, Maslow's theory, first proposed in 1940s, needed to be updated to reflect the last 50 years of research. The research team restructured the famous pyramid after observing how psychological processes radically change in response to evolutionary fundamental motives, such as self-protection, mating, or status concern. The theory was updated to reflect better needs of modern life, while the original hierarchy contained the 5 levels. Okay. So you have understood, I hope. It's very simple to understand. Discuss the process theory. Okay, just go through your book. Write a note on safety and security needs of my Maslow's theory and stuff like that. Next, we move on to the Herzberg's 2-factor theory. Now, who is this Herzberg? Frederick Herzberg proposed motivation hygienic theory in his book, Work and Nature of Man. While Alfreda reduced Maslow's 5 needs to theory, Herberger further reduced them to 2, namely hygienic factors and motivators. Herberger recognized Maslow's analysis and developed it further. His motivators related to higher order of needs of the individual, representing the highest 3 levels in Maslow's hierarchy, and hygiene factors relate to Maslow's lower order needs. He believed that removing the factors causing dissatisfaction in the workplace does not automatically cause satisfaction. He said that the employees need to take care of factors which positively increases satisfaction. He developed this theory of research he conducted in the 1950s with 200 engineers and accountants. He investigated the question, what do people want from their jobs? He asked the employees simple question, can you recollect occasions when you felt really happy in your work and what made you happy on these occasions? An analysis of this reply showed the feelings of satisfaction as something to do with the work itself. Such times they solved problems or their contribution was appreciated. Their satisfaction does not stem from extrinsic factors such as increase in salary or promotion. These things were forgotten, but achievements in work remain. For this experiment, he postulated that humans have 2 sets of needs. The lower level needs as animal to avoid pain and deprivation, higher level needs as human being to grow psychologically. These needs have to be satisfied at work as much as in other spheres of life. He concluded that the many factors that were thought to be motivating, such as pay and managerial strengths, were not motivating at all. By asking individuals what satisfied them on the job and what dissatisfied them, Herzberg came to the conclusion that aspects that satisfy employees are different from the aspects that dissatisfy them. He proposed that the job satisfaction and dissatisfaction are not opposite ends of a continuum, but rather represent the 2. So you see a table that gives you the hygiene factors of the dissatisfiers and motivators of desire, which is very, very clear to understand, right? So you read up a little more and you'll be able to understand it better. So we move on to the expectancy, that is the room theory. While theories like Maslow and Herberg focused on the needs, Victor Vroom proposed the expectancy theory that focused on the outcomes. Vroom's expectancy theory is based on the assumption that an individual's behavior results from the choice made by him with respect to the alternative course of action. This means an individual consciously chooses certain behavior over other behaviors with an expectation of getting the desired attitudes, perceptions, and beliefs. Thus, room theory has roots in cognitive concepts, how an individual processes different elements of motivation. Expectancy theory is classified into process theory of motivation because it emphasizes individual perception of the environment and subsequent interactions arising as a consequence of personal expectation. This theory mainly relies upon extrinsic motivators to explain causes for behavior exhibited in the workplace. Room's theory states that an individual will act in a certain way based on the expectation that the act will be followed by given outcome and on the attractiveness of the outcome to the individual. According to the theory, individual's motivation is affected by their expectations of the above future. It is based on 3 concepts: expectancy, instrumentality, and the balance. Expectancy is the belief that increased effort will lead to increased performance. Okay. And thus, the belief depends on the individual's past experience, self-confidence, and the perceived difficulty of the performance or a goal. This is influenced by various factors as having the right resource available, having the right skill to do the job, having necessary support to get the job done, self-efficacy, the beliefs and the ability to be able to successfully perform a task, and the goal difficulty when goals are set too high, performance expectations that are made difficult, etc. Instrumentality, it is the belief that if you perform well, that a valued outcome will be received. The reward represents itself in the form of pay, increase, promotion, recognition, etc. Instrumentality is influenced by various factors, clear understanding between relationship between performance and the outcome, trust in the people who will take the decision or the reward outcome, transparency of the process. Balance, it is the value of the importance that the employee gives to the particular reward outcome. For example, If someone is mainly motivated by money, he or she might not value offers of additional time off. Example of valued outcomes in the workplace include pay increase, bonuses, promotions, time off, new assignment, recognition, etc. If managers can effectively determine what their employees' values and act accordingly, motivation of employees will be high. Influential factors, one's values, needs, goal, preferences, etc. The three elements are important behind choosing one element over another because they are clearly defined. Effort, performance, expectancy, and performance outcome, expectancy. Effort, performance, expectancy is our assessment of the probability that our effort will be lead to required performance level. Performance outcome expected, our assessment of the probability that our successful performance will lead to certain outcomes. Okay. Application of the rooms theory in organization, right? Putting in more effort will lead to better job performance. Better job performance will lead to rewards such as increase in salary. Rewards match the interest of the employees. Okay. So it is all the details. Little more explanation is given. Kindly read up this whole thing. Okay, so in simple terms, rooms theory makes it clear that the leaders of the organization needs to provide rewards that individual value, set achievable targets for the individual, and provide promised rewards to the individual. So with this, we come to the end of the theories on motivation. And you find the model question here and the glossary. Okay, so in today's session, we have completed unit 7, 8, and 9. Right? So with this, we complete the block 3. So you may be wondering why I'm moving fast, because we just have very little time to complete. So I have planned in such a way that we cover the complete portion. In today's portion, we completed 3 units, 7, 8, and 9. Right? The theories of motivation is the last one. And then the next weekend class, we cover again 3 and 3, by which we can end the complete syllabus. Thank you very much for your patience listening. I would recommend you to kindly go through your textbooks. It is very clear, very simple. Go through the model question papers, prepare yourself well, and I'm sure you'll do very well. All the very best to you, and God bless you. Have a nice Saturday.